Good evening and welcome to Altos, your weekly Catholic news program here on Trinity TV and now showing on the national television station TTT. I'm Neil Parsonlal and here's a look at this week's top stories. Death and destruction as Hurricane Beryl ravages the Caribbean from Grenada to Jamaica and beyond. The Church is doing its part to organize hurricane relief to affected islands. We'll tell you how you can help. SEA results were released recently. The Catholic Education Board of Management is pleased. And later, an unusual start to the hurricane season. We speak with meteorologist Gary Benjamin on what we can expect for the rest of it. And now for our top story. Homes were flattened, power lines were downed, and streets strewn with mangled and dismantled roofs. This is the aftermath of Hurricane Beryl as she ripped across the Caribbean. At least 9 persons are known to have been killed across Grenada, northern Venezuela, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and Jamaica after the Category 5 storm made landfall from Tuesday. Catholic News Altos reporter Kaylan Jordan has more in this story.
Bishop Clyde Harvey of St. George's in Grenada, via Good News Catholic Communications on Thursday, said he was afraid when the Category 4 hurricane struck Grenada.
Which I felt that it was as if a bunch of hyenas was circling my house, trying to get at me. You know, the sound, you know, and when that stopped for a while, I was afraid. And I looked back on it and I said, stupid you know. But I have to admit I was afraid. I was afraid to go out. I didn't know what was outside that door. I was afraid, and yet in the stillness, a glimmer of hope. Perhaps that second wave wouldn't come. Perhaps we were safe and would remain safe through the rest of the storm.
Bishop Harvey invited Grenadians to acknowledge and process their feelings after the storm. He felt that parts of them died in the storm and encouraged them to reflect on their tensions, anxieties, and moments of hope together. Meanwhile, Bishop Gerard County of Kingston told Altos on Thursday that his roof sustained minimal damage, which has since been repaired. However, he reported significant damage in the southern Grenadines. Union Island has been decimated, with the church destroyed. In Meru, the church has collapsed, but fortunately, the priest, who was in the annex, was not injured and has since returned to Canoan, where he is sheltering families. In Bequia, the presbytery lost about half of its roof, and there is still no communication or electricity on the Grenadines Islands. Bishop County and Anglican Bishop Leopold Friday on Thursday visited the islands. While Hurricane Beryl did not make a direct hit in Jamaica, 2 people were killed. Prior to the storm reaching the island, Archbishop Kenneth Richards of Kingston urged the faithful to secure their lives and property, emphasizing the power of prayer. I am Kaylan Jordan for Catholic News Altos.
And in the wake of the hurricane damage, the Archdiocese of Port of Spain is one of several organizations that have begun coordinating efforts for hurricane relief to the affected islands. As early as Tuesday, Archbishop Charles Jason Gordon formed a small Archdiocesan hurricane response team. The Archbishop said, "In this crisis, it would be good for the people of God to feel the love of the Catholic Church in all of its different beautiful manifestations. We have been very good at this. Now we can increase the impact and work together to ensure people who need it the most get the care of the Church." A hurricane relief account at Republic Bank has been set up to receive in-person and online donations. The account info is on your screen as we speak. Non-nationals can use their credit cards to donate to the hurricane relief efforts through WePay. Among the other organizations that have already begun rushing supplies are ITNAC, Is There Not a Cause Foundation, Sewa TT, working with the Heart of the Village Foundation, which is sending a team of volunteers, and the joint chambers comprising the TT Chamber of Industry and Commerce, the Manufacturers Association, the Energy Chamber, and the American Chamber. We urge you to please visit catholictt.org and our social media for more information on how you can assist. Some Catholic schools performed outstandingly this year based on the results of the secondary entrance examination that were released on June 27th. Maracas RC was once on the academic watch list because of their low performance. Since 2016, it has been in the process of transformation, and through implementation of a quality assurance program, the principal and staff have reaped the rewards. 17 students sat the exam. 7 did very well, among them 3 boys who passed for St. Mary's College, a first for the school. Nelson Street Girls RC took the unusual step of holding back 2 SEA classes last year out of concern they were not sufficiently prepared. 69 children sat the exam this year. The staff was very happy as many students got their first and/or second choices. And 52 boys from the San Fernando Boys RC sat the exam with over 50% passing for their first choice. Sharon Mangru, CEO of the Catholic Education Board of Management, told Catholic News Altos that while some schools did extremely well, the recovery post-COVID is not complete. She expects it will continue for a number of years. We congratulate all students who wrote the exam. After 20 years of talks and planning, a new wing has finally been constructed at the Holy Name Convent in Port of Spain, named after its former principal, Sister Bernadette de la Bastide, and within this wing houses an auditorium named after former prioress, Sister Helen Gomes. The newly constructed wing was commissioned on Tuesday, July 2nd. Among those in attendance were Ministers of Education Dr. Nian Gadsby-Dolly and Lisa Morris-Julian, Finance Minister Colm Imbert, and Minister of Energy and Energy Industries and Member of Parliament for Port of Spain North St. Anne's West, Stuart Young. Current Principal of Holy Name Convent, Miss Lizette Can, praised those who dared to believe in their dream 20 years ago.
I thank those who listened to us. I thank all of you who prioritized our need. You saw our need and you had confidence in the work that we do. Because I know that when you have limited resources, you are required to think about how you are going to allocate those resources for the best output. I dare say that you have trusted in our legacy of excellence here at Holy Name Convent. I dare say that you have believed us when we said to you that investing in us is an investment in the nation.
The new facility houses 8 multifunctional and state-of-the-art learning spaces, as well as a ground floor gymnasium and performance center. Staying with our schools, what started as an entrepreneurship project undertaken by some schools has mushroomed at the Hard Bargain RC School as pupils have developed an array of products. These future entrepreneurs tell us more about their venture.
We are the Standard 1 class of Hard Bargain St. Paul's RC School. This term our project was entrepreneurship. Our name was Coconut Creations. We chose to use coconut as they are readily available and easily accessible to us. As part of our project, we had to record ourselves making our products such as ice cream, barfy, drops, sweetbread, sugar cake, and fudge. After making our products, we were allowed to sell them at school.
We all worked together as a team and created delicious, healthy, pure organic products using local coconut.
We made coconut oil, fudge, cupcakes, lollies, cocoa brooms, jelly-infused coconut water, and sugar cakes. All these products were sold in our beautiful coconut cafe. It was so exciting to see the schoolmates, teachers, and parents come over to purchase our goods.
Welcome to Little Eden Plant Shop. Buy first year.
We truly have some budding entrepreneurs and the students of Hard Bargain RC. And another heartwarming story of unity, sportsmanship and community building unfolded in Penal on Saturday, June 29th. The Union Family Team Building Day football match took place at the Penal RC ground, featuring a thrilling encounter between the home team Triniven FC and their visitors from the United States, Union FC Academy from North Carolina. Altos correspondent Kaylan Moore has more on this venture.
The match ended in a dramatic 3-all draw, showcasing the talent and determination of both teams. Among the key figures in this event was Anthony Wolf, the director of Union FC Academy. Wolf's involvement with Triniven FC came through their head coach, Moses Perez Macnish, a Venezuelan immigrant who has made significant contributions to the sport.
I saw those young men on the pitch there. Some of them, I mean, they didn't have food to eat. When I watched some of them, I saw a young man running with his shoes and he tied the lace around his foot because he didn't have a sole. And I just felt something stabbed me in my chest. I just felt a sharp pain on the left side of my chest and something told me, Tony, Mr. Moses didn't bring you here. God brought you here. And he brought you here for a purpose.
Wolf highlighted the project's financial challenges, noting it runs without any external funding. Meals are provided every training day for the boys with help from then parish priest Father Robert Christo. This match also brought new opportunities as 3 Venezuelan young men were offered the chance to attend secondary school in Trinidad. Father Robert Christo shared more about the initiative.
We had an opportunity to integrate sport, faith, against the crime activities in the area in Penal. And our Spanish-speaking community, along with the English, we formed a academy for football as an avenue for transformative work here in the village, and it's worked tremendously.
Union FC player Colin Hill, who has been with the club for 2 years, expressed his joy at being part of this initiative.
Coming out to Trinidad's been a fantastic experience for me. I've loved it down here. Great food, great people. It's been amazing. Above all else, the competition's steep here. You guys play with passion. You play with love. That's a great thing.
I am Kaylan Jordan for Catholic News, Altos.
Truly a heartwarming story. Citizens of the United Kingdom woke up today to the news of a new government as the Labour Party swept the polls. Cardinal Vincent Nichols, president of the Bishops' Conference, has offered his congratulations to the new Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, Keir Starmer, after Labour's election victory on Thursday. Cardinal Nichols wrote to the Prime Minister to assure him of his prayers as the Labour leader forms a new government. The Cardinal, acknowledging the challenges of leadership, said the Catholic Church stands ready to work constructively with the government in matters of education and other areas that serve the common good. It's now time for us to take a short break, and when we return, we speak with meteorologist Gary Benjamin on Hurricane Beryl and what's in store for us in the balance of the hurricane season. Before we do so, here's a look at this week's trivia question. Thanks very much for staying with us. The Meteorological Services of Trinidad and Tobago is one of those services you hear about every day, but you hardly ever see the people who provide that service. We have with us today via Zoom Gary Benjamin, senior meteorologist, but a man we see at Santa Rosa RC Church regularly. Welcome on set, Gary.
It's pleased to be here. A great honor for the first time to be on your program. I think I should have been on it a little bit more.
You're welcome to come back anytime.
Yeah.
But Gary, tell us, what is the current status of our most recent visitor, Hurricane Beryl? Where is she at the moment?
Beryl at this time is now close to Mexico, just on the coast of Mexico. In fact, it is on the Yucatan Peninsula, just in the southern areas of the the Gulf of Mexico. And as it is expected to go more overland, it should be reducing in strength a little bit, but it is still a strong and powerful hurricane.
This has been one of the deadliest hurricanes we've had in the region for a while. All the reports indicate, though, that Beryl was something of an anomaly. One of the first Category 4 hurricanes on this side, so far south, so soon. What would have accounted for that?
Normally, because of the variation in temperature throughout the season, normally we get the cooler temperatures at the beginning of the season, and as the season ramps up or as the temperatures increases, we get the season ramping up around August and September. But because within recent years, in fact, 2023 has been the warmest on record, and 2024 sets to be even warmer. Because of that warm ocean temperatures, it is very warm at this time in the year, and it is just relative to the past years, so that we could expect earlier and stronger hurricanes as the waters get warmer. And then even if it is very warm right now, we expect it to increase even more so as the season goes on.
Because one of the reports, Gary, says that the sea surface temperatures we're experiencing now are in fact what we would usually expect all the way down in September. Is that correct?
Yes, this is exactly so. So that relative to this season, this is in fact the cooler part. But relative to climatology, it is very warm for comparison to previous years.
So Beryl has already barreled through the region. We've had 9 reported deaths so far. But based on what you're telling me, we could anticipate even a more active hurricane season. What should we expect going forward?
Yes, we should expect an even more active hurricane season, and that is as far as the numbers of hurricanes are concerned. We talk about the numbers of hurricane, and the more amount of hurricane development or cyclonic development, and there's a greater chance or probability that it will hit land somewhere. So that the more we have developing, we are more in danger, so to speak, of being affected by one of these cyclones. For the whole of the Atlantic basin, the Caribbean Sea and the Gulf of Mexico, NOAA has predicted 17 to 25 storms, 8 to 13 of which could become hurricane, and 4 to 7 major hurricanes. What is of concern to us is our area of interest, just to the east of the Lesser Antilles and Trinidad and Tobago, because any one of those cyclones forming that area would directly threaten us at times. So we have to be very careful with everything that comes across in the equatorial waters, the tropical waters from Africa to the Caribbean area. And we are predicting for that area an above normal season also. We're looking at 6 likely named storms, the average of which would have been 4 between 1991 to 2020. We're looking at the most likely number of hurricanes to be 3, the average of which is 1. And as I said, the more cyclones that develop in that area, the more we are threatened by one which could possibly come across our lands. And we have already seen that occurring with Beryl.
Gary, what you're saying is frightening to say the least. It underscores the reality and the gravity of climate change and its impact on small island developing states like ours, the Trinidad and Tobago, and in fact the rest of the region. What can we do to mitigate this?
Climate change is a fact. We are in the middle of climate change. It is occurring. We are seeing the evidence of it as hot days in Trinidad. We are seeing the average maximum temperatures reaching close to 34, many days reaching 35 degrees Celsius. It is a fact. We have to now, if we haven't done it before, we have to now change our behaviors. We have to go into a behavioral change and sort of reduce our own personal carbon footprints, as to do things so as not to put greenhouse gases such as carbon dioxide and nitrous oxide into the atmosphere. That is the most we can do. as individual people. And maybe when we all do it together, we could have some mitigating effect as to the effects of climate change as the years go by.
But Gary, how from your point of view, and certainly from the Met Services point of view, how good are we at predicting the possibility of these hurricanes? What does the Met Services do on a daily basis that will make us more prepared for this?
Well, we have been, when you look at the scientific evidence and the results, the Met Office has been performing above reasonably well, I would say so. I mean, coming from me, it might be like blowing my own trumpet. But sort of looking at it clinically, the Met Office has been doing well. We may have detractors who try to say something different, but when you look at it dispassionately, we have been predicting reasonably well and maybe above that. As climate change begins, it becomes more and more difficult because these developments takes place as per Beryl in explosive manners. In 24 hours, Beryl went from a tropical depression to a major hurricane just skirting the edge of Tobago. We are keeping abreast with the technology. We are looking to get our radar back online. We are also implementing the GOES 16 satellite. And there's so much that the Met Office and the meteorologists can do. And when we put out our information, what we have to do is to stress the importance of that information, not so much to panic, but to respond appropriately to the warnings and whatever predictions that we have been putting out. And that word prediction, I must clear it up. Any meteorologist who wants to make you believe that they can foretell the future, I tell them that Gary Benjamin says they are fooling you. We cannot foretell the future. We do not do prophecies. We do predictions based on science. And therefore, every time we make a prediction, whether it's 80% or 70%, there is an other part of the prediction that may not come true. But we have been doing reasonably well to.
Gary, you said we're getting our radar back up. There's a Doppler radar thing in the central range, somewhere in Brasso Venado, around there, that is supposed to be up and running, or to be able to help us with that. Is that functional?
It has been done for a while, and we have been making, the Met Office and the government of Trinidad and Tobago have been making great efforts to bring it back up. And from my point of view, from my standpoint where I stand, the information that I have is that a lot of things has been done to the tower itself, and then they have to complete the actual radar system. So we are making progress, and it is hoped that in very short order, we should be seeing it back online.
And that would assist us greatly.
Well, what the radar does, yes, it does assist us greatly because we have an extra eye. We also have closer, within 400 kilometers, to see developments as they take place and as they approach Trinidad and Tobago and the rest of the lesser Antilles.
But the last time we checked, God does not have a Trinidad and Tobago passport, yes?
No, he doesn't. Well, yes, we could say yes, but he also has a passport for Jamaica and Carriacou and all the other islands, and God does what he has to do, and he gives us the wisdom for us to do what we have to do. And we just allow things to take place and see how we can work it out as human beings.
And part of that, allowing us to do what we must do, to the average Trinidad and Tobago person listening to us, or anywhere listening to us, what should we do to prepare for a hurricane?
Well, in the first instance, we should come to the serious understanding that even if we are at the edge of the storm belt or the hurricane belt or the cyclone belt, if you want to call it that, we are still within that belt. And records have shown over the years, even before named hurricanes and proper records, that a lot of cyclones, storms, and hurricanes pass Trinidad and Tobago. We know of Alma, Brett, Flora, Janet. We know all these storms that actually, and then Brett in 2017 also. That, so we know we can be hit by hurricanes. So we have to be aware and have our behaviors from the beginning of the season to be prepared. You have your grab and go bags. You have your documents in proper order and well secured. You have your medication, you see about the elderly, the children and the pets, and all the able-bodied people must be able to help those who are not so able-bodied as themselves. So we all have to work together in preparation, and also in the event of any disaster, we have to also work together. I always say that the people on the ground, they are first responders who would come in, but the people on the ground are zero responders. That is my term, that whenever anything happens, we have to be able to keep ourselves alive until such time the first responders and the professionals are able to get to us. So we should also have some knowledge of first aid and go through programs like that, so we could be able to help each other and keep each other alive until we could see the professionals getting through to wherever we might be at the time of a disaster.
Well, Gary, I want to thank you, and I'm sure all of us viewing would like to thank you and the Met Services. You probably don't hear it enough. You probably only hear when your predictions do not pan out as they ought to be. But I think on behalf of a grateful nation, we want to thank you and all the other persons at the Met Services for the kind of service you've been providing, not only to us, but certainly up the islands as well. So on behalf of all of us, thank you very much.
That is much appreciated. And I can tell when the people in the sign-up office hear these sort of things, because they do human service and they do a lot of work behind the scenes that nobody knows about. I can talk about it because I know about it. Mm-hmm. And whenever we hear the thanks, it feels good. And in fact, it should feel better than when we hear the negative comments.
And we hope to have you back sometime, perhaps later down in the hurricane season, so that we can talk a little bit more about the accuracy, predictions, not prophecies, of what is in store for us for the rest of the season. Gary, thanks very much.
I would appreciate that very much to get our word up. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks for staying with us. We'll be right back.
We are taking a leap of faith on Trinity TV. Jump in with us for this new and exciting experience.
Thanks very much for staying with us. Some good news today. Dr. Richard Clark is the newest local recipient of the Benemerenti Medal. He was presented with the medal by Archbishop Charles Jason Gordon at a simple ceremony at Archbishop's house on June 27th. The Benemerenti Medal is awarded by the Pope to members of the clergy and laity for service to the Catholic Church. Dr. Clark has served for at least 3 decades at the Living Water Hospice. Congratulations to Dr. Clark. And now here's a look at some upcoming events in the Archdiocese. And for a look at what's in store in the Catholic news this week, we turn to Catholic News editor Raymond Sims.
In this Sunday's issue, Benedictine brother Pascal Jordan shares on the close ties the monks at Mount St. Benedict have with their counterparts in the Ethiopian Orthodox Church. And following the passage of Hurricane Beryl, parishes in Grenada have been strongly urged to form disaster preparedness committees. I am Raymond Sims, editor of the Catholic News.
And that brings us to the end of this week's episode of Altos. A reminder that you can send correspondence to us at altos@catholictt.org. Prior to the commissioning of the new wing at Holy Name Convent, the school celebrated the occasion with Holy Mass, celebrated by Father Gregory Augustine, inside their new auditorium to boot. We leave you today with some scenes from that celebration. Do have a good week, everyone. Stay safe.